Hey guys, D Smooth 753 here, back at it with a really overdue video. Sorry, lost my other camera. Gotta go with just my laptop camera. I'm making the video work. Today, I want to talk about Sonic the Hedgehog. And my crazy theory is Sonic the Hedgehog a Taekwondo master? Let's start from the beginning. Let's talk about Sonic's fighting style. Throughout the series, we do Sonic always doing crazy kicks. Not just regular kicks, but really high flying kicks. Lots of twists and turns. Sonic also has a hit and run based combat system. Whenever in a Sonic boss fight, he runs up to the enemy, fights them for a bit, and then backs off. And then comes back later and fights him for a bit. Sonic's always constantly doing this throughout the whole boss fight. This zony in and out fighting style. He also frequently uses side steps. Sonic is constantly jumping from side to side when he's boosting, and while in many of the boss fights, he's constantly jumping side to side. Even his homing attack is all about precision and power. The homing attack is a very precise strike, much like a Taekwondo fighter's kick. Like the side kicks, the roundhouse kicks, it's a precision-based power kick. It functions just like it, is what I mean. Can't screw up there. Now, let's talk about Taekwondo. Taekwondo is a Korean-based martial art that focuses on ranged kicks, meant to be fast and precise. There are two main styles. ITF, which focuses on gritty real-world defense formed from its original military purpose, and WTF, which focuses on Olympic-style sparring with a lesser focus on power, and it's not meant to be as practical. Now, in Taekwondo, like I said, the whole thing is relying on distance and high-range kicks. Taekwondo fighters rely largely on distance. They also frequently use side steps. A Taekwondo fighter will jump in and out while fighting. This is so they can control the engagement of the fight and give them an advantage, selectively choosing when to engage the fight. They'll also jump back and forth. They'll also jump back and forth in order to get out of the way of a charging fighter in terms of street fights. Does that sound familiar? The sidestep that Sonic uses. Taekwondo fighters rely largely on distance, which is why they frequently have push-off tactics incorporated. Let's talk about Super Smash Bros. Sonic and Smash Bros. Now, before you ask, yeah, I know that Smash Bros. Is not canon, but this is a great example of how Sonic fights. In Super Smash Bros., despite being a melee-based fighter, he's reliant so much on distance. It's because Sonic has slow attacks, so he has to rely on his running speed. The in and out fighting style. Sonic will run up to his enemy, hit them for a bit, then back off, hit them again, back off, hit them again, back off, hit them again. Now, people complain that in Smash Brothers, oh, his design is lazy. Sonic has a lazy combat design. As many of his attacks look similar, like the down spin dash and the side spin dash look the same. Well, they look very similar. Now, from an outsider looking in, this looks like lazy game design. But from a combat perspective, this is genius because you don't want your enemy to pick up on your movements. So by blurring things together and making everything look the same, it makes it super hard to pick up on the movements because each move serves a different purpose. The side spin dash is meant to push back the enemy with a big hit, and the down charging spin dash traps them in a combo. It's meant to set up other combos. Many of the Taekwondo kicks follow a similar principle. From an outsider looking in, it looks like Taekwondo fighters are just spamming wild kicks. But no, each kick has a different purpose. Like the front kick is mainly meant to create distance, to push back your enemy. And a sidekick, it can be used for that, but it's mostly meant for precision based to strike right to the head. In other styles, they'll use sidekicks to push back, but in Taekwondo, they largely use it for power. They'll step back, come in, and hit. Around, also, when it comes to many Taekwondo kicks, you never know when one kick is just a setup for another. Like the roundhouse kick, they could just hit you with that, or that could just be a setup for a turnaround butterfly kick or something like that. That's another thing about Taekwondo fighters, that they're really good at mixing it up and making their moves look similar. From an outside perspective, that looks boring. But from a combat perspective, it's genius. You don't want your enemy to pick up on what you're doing. And Sonic and Smash Brothers follows those same principles. This is why people hate Sonic so much, because Sonic has a good combat design. Not a entertaining combat design, but a good combat design nonetheless. Another weakness that Sonic shares, and when it comes to super close range fighters, like when a boxer gets super close up to you, just start boxing you up. Sonic in Smash Brothers is not good for that. Sonic needs distance to fight, and Taekwondo fighters need distance to fight. Now I know there's many Taekwondo fighters who also do stuff like boxing and things, but when it comes to super close fighting, Taekwondo isn't meant for that. Now they do have emergency situations, like emergency grapple moves. Taekwondo fighters have many emergency grappling moves and stuff like that. Sonic, he's equipped with many, like even in Smash Brothers again, Sonic is fixed with the get off me, like that combo that he does, that's meant to just push enemies away. And Taekwondo is full of the push off tactics. That get off me move. I need space so I can keep kicking you from a distance. Sonic needs distance to fight in Super Smash Bros. And even in the games, Sonic needs space to move around. If you trap Sonic in a close space, Sonic, he's not good when it comes to up close. He needs distance. He's a hit and run. Sonic is a hit and run fighter. He needs distance to fight. Taekwondo fighters need distance to fight. Unless they're also trained in something else like BJJ and they can just grab onto you. Which Sonic, he really doesn't display that many grappling abilities. Sonic, I believe that he's ITF because Sonic, he's also shown to have high punches in many of the cutscenes. He won't just he'll focus on high punches. Another thing about Sonic is that he also takes wide stances, even while fighting. Whenever Sonic is showing off, he'll take wide stances. Those wide, deep stances, those forms are meant to build strength within the legs, to build strength in your legs, as well as help with kicking. It also subconsciously teaches us that we rely on distance for fighting. Sonic also does those wide stances frequently throughout the series. And that's all I got for today. Tell me what you think below. Do you agree, disagree? Like and subscribe. See you guys later.